The project was a great opportunity to visit places that we wouldn't have visited on our own. So in that sense, the project was very successful because we met a lot of people, a lot of professionals, and we could discuss with them issues, problems, and how they managed to solve them, or what they are trying to do to solve them, even about the funding opportunities for their project. So this whole visit was very beneficial as regards getting new experiences. Because although one will be working in certain sector for quite a long time, it is very good to meet other people and get their own views, especially from places which we haven't visited before. The mix of sites that we visited were very varied, very unique. We had the opportunity to visit historic cities, visit archaeological sites, industrial heritage sites as well as exhibitions, so and restoration projects. This mix was very beneficial for us because we could see works in progress, completed works in their initiation, so we could have a very good idea about all the issues and how they were solving them. In fact, some of the discussions that we had, we could adopt when we went back to our work. This gave us a new impetus in how we look at things, because of having a revitalized spirit in the work we do. We appreciated a lot visiting certain places, as I said, that we wouldn't have visited on our own, especially the management of the project itself, and the transport system that they provided us with managed to get us to see a lot of places within the same day. And that, I think, maximized a lot of the impact of the project.
Very interesting. I really enjoyed myself. I went there to learn about the culture of the place and the potential also to send cultural tourists there. I was impressed first of all with Ferrara, which is really a beautiful city. It's very historic, and especially how they still, the people and the experts have really curated the walls over the years, and with a program that was very intensive to restore the walls. But in the city you could see a lot of past history from the time that the family Este was there, to the papacy, and later on Garibaldi came. So we had an opportunity also to live and breathe in the city. I was impressed a lot with a lot of beautiful places, palaces, especially the last villa we visited, where the famous Matteotti, the politician who was murdered by Mussolini, lived. So we could see there was an amalgam of the person who lived there, his history, and the place, so it was really amalgamated. It is everyday life where he used to live. I liked a lot Comacchio, which is a really nice town with much like Venice, with canals, and had a lot of history, a lot of culture, and even I studied the culture through the people who live there, by seeing their attitudes, the way they live, because obviously this also shows that they carry part of their forefathers, it's like of their heritage. And I had also the opportunity that I went on my own to visit Chioggia, which is another small town with lovely canals. It's just under Venice, but it's so beautiful because it has different palaces from Venice, it has different reflections. And I also, being a photographer, enjoyed photographing the everyday life, the palaces, and how they are being lived today by the people who live their everyday life there. So, I hope that after this visit, obviously I learned a lot, I made a lot of new contacts, I would be able to have a bit of this heritage of this area into myself, which I will treasure forever, but also perhaps I will open to other people in Malta who may just not only take tourists and go just to the usual palaces, to the usual places like Venice, Padova, but also visit these small towns. So it will be an amalgamated trip where they can see also the other side of the place, because Venice, we all know, what it is. You see it 100 times and 100 different things to discover. But there are other things to discover in other places in this northeast Italy, Emilia-Romagna, Veneto. Thank you.
My name is Kenneth Hauki. I am the Conservation Officer of the Malta Environment and Planning Authority. Recently I attended an exchange, a cultural exchange with Rovigo, with my colleagues through VocHe.eu. We have found this project to be extremely helpful and interesting also in our in jobs. We have seen and we have witnessed projects being undertaken in these cities, and I must admit that from our end, seeing the projects being done, being undertaken with the hindsight of the Sovrintendenza Italiana, we could see another perspective of jobs related with culture and heritage, the way they are seen from vis-à-vis the Sovrintendenza Italiana, which is the counterpart of the Malta Environment and Planning Authority. Quite frankly, I must admit that I have seen things that probably at a permit level received in Malta we would probably recommend the refusal. And when seeing it being done in Italy, the way it was being done, being sympathetic to the original and keeping the buildings in active use, has been done so, how can you say, so delicately and sensitively, that the result, I must say, has affected my personal perspective, so that in Malta, should we have an instance when we have a similar scenario, perhaps if we are sensitive in the same way, obviously each case is different and is individual. However, I am most certain that certain basics are present in each scenario. Then I am certain that the VocHe.eu project has been very successful and has reached its goal, because after all, a cultural exchange, the aims of a cultural exchange are precisely so.
My name is Etienne. I have participated in this vocational project. I've been on the second group last February, between the 10th and the 20th, 10 days, and we have been to Rovigo and other areas like Comacchio and Ferrara and Bologna, Modena, and areas around there. And I am an architect, and I have been I found this to be a very interesting project, because first of all it gave me an insight into the way these people live in this area, which is a particular area, lowlands. These are lowlands, and they had a way of dealing with the particular geographic properties of the area, and how they used to live and seek the dry lands and expel the water out and use it for farming certain things. So there's a historical background to the way they lived, and it is portrayed beautifully in a couple of museums that we saw. That struck me most in Rovigo, Museo dei Grandi Fiumi, and even in another area which showed the hydro veins which pump the water out and keep well, these are details, but on the whole it gives us an insight into how these people lived from prehistory to the modern era. In more recent times, there's a lot of art and a lot of architecture. We saw some amazing cathedrals, especially, and it helps show that it's not just the huge cities that have the masterpieces, but even in the smaller cities, you will always find beautiful masterpieces that are just off the beaten track, or perhaps not as well known as the great cities. Of course, we've been to Bologna and Mantova, and so it all comes together very nicely. I would like to thank for this wonderful experience. I would like to thank Valentina and Marco from Vocational MVC, and also Dr. Ray Bondi as promoter of the project on behalf of Heritage Management Consultants. Thank you.